Okay, so now you see it. Jesus Christ, that's stupid. So dumb. Alright. Guess I'll start from the beginning. Jesus, that pisses me off. I need to unmute all the sounds in this game first. Alright, there we go. Okay. So let me start this from the beginning. So this week I played Horizon Zero Dawn. And I'm not usually a big fan. Yeah, you'd think. I'm not usually typically a big fan of open world, but I was just really blown away by how that game is set up. You know, the story is so good. It shows a female protagonist in a setting that is like humanity has been reset in the future. There's all these machines. It was just really fun. The game had a good pace. The story did not get to be so much that you couldn't keep up or got overwhelmed. And that's the problem that I have with a lot of these open world games is like you look at this huge map and there's all these things you got to go do. Like, oh my god, what do I do here? What do I do there? And with Horizon, there's side quests, right? There's these things called side quests, and then there's something called errands, which are completely different. Side quests are, you're helping somebody do this. Errands are usually you're doing something for yourself. Hey, go do this, make me this, I'll give you this in exchange, blah, blah, blah. But you can do them, and typically, like, if you go, the story's like, all right, you need to go here and do this, talk to this person, whatever. So you go talk to that person, there's a side quest, like, right next to them, and typically they go in the same spot. They pair that up really well. And I felt the pacing was really good. It was really cool seeing a female protagonist that wasn't this skinny, blonde, big boobed having girl. Like, this girl is flat chested, no butt. Like, she's not sexualized at all. She's not out there trying to get married or have kids. She's not trying to do any of these things. She's just there to literally help the world. And the story was so good the entire time. And I didn't even finish the expansion. I mean, I just got to the expansion part. There's a new game plus part that was really fun. Doing all the side quests will help you at the end of the game, which I thought was really awesome. So not only are you doing it to get experience and get new items, but at the end of the game, the last boss fight is easier because you helped all these people. And I just thought that was a really cool concept. I got a solid 50, 60 hours out of the game easy. But I got a platinum trophy, so I did everything the game had to offer. Got all the collectibles, killed all the enemies different ways, got all the rare gear and all that stuff. But you can play that game if you don't want to do. If you're not one of those people who enjoys doing side quests, you don't have to do them. And if you do want to, it's great. I was a big fan of it. I typically hate open world games. There's only 2 open world games that I can tell you that I've actually played through, and that is Horizon now and Batman Arkham City. And even Arkham City was pushing me. Like, I was almost there. I was like, I don't think I can do this. And Arkham City is known as one of people's like favorite Batman games. First off, I enjoyed Arkham Asylum. I enjoyed Arkham Asylum way more because it was more linear, and I just, I didn't. They weren't like, oh, here's this giant map, and you can go anywhere you want and do anything there. It's just like, oh, like when I look at that map, I'm just like, oh my god, like what do I do? Where do I go first? And then by the time I come up with a plan, I'm just like, oh fuck, this is crazy. What if I miss something? What if I forget this? I get all this crazy anxiety. Like I can't do it. That's why I can't play games like Destiny. I can't play games like that where there's like this giant map and you gotta go do all this and go do all that and da 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 da. It's like, oh my god, fucking please stop. Please stop. Like I don't need this many options. There's this stigma where people think that linear is bad, and I don't know why. All the great games that we played as kids were linear games. Mario 3, linear. And the thing I enjoy about linear games is that when you do find that hidden thing or that secret area, or, like, for me it was playing games like Star Ocean 2. Like, there's a part in Star Ocean 2 where they're like, all right, you need to go talk to this this person, and they're going to get you on a boat, and you're going to go across the ocean. But me and Danny found like this spot like on this mountain where you could farm like these really high level monsters. You could level up really fast. And for me, I was like, oh, that's awesome. Like I figured out I could do this. Open world games, that's all you do. You're just like, I'm gonna go here to do this, go over here, do this, go over here, do this, and then by the time you're done doing all those, because I'm a fucking perfectionist, so I have to finish everything before I start the main story. And it makes it where this game that would probably last me 20 hours is pulling like 100 plus because I'm doing all these things. While Horizon does have extra stuff, like it's always available. You can always turn around and go back. And that's more than I can say for most open world games. I was blown away by the attention to detail from everything from the gameplay elements to the graphics, to the sound, to the voice acting, to the motion capture. Everything was on point. And I did not expect to like this game. Like, I spent $50 on this game, and I was like, oh, I guess if it sucks, I'll just take it back, whatever. But it was phenomenal. It was a great experience, and I'm like 90% sure I will not sell that game because I could pick it up. If I just get an itch to do something fun, I can pick it up, pop it in, go do this, go do that, da 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 da, whatever, and I would have a good time. And that's it. Like that's how Horizon was for me. Seeing a female protagonist, like somebody like a younger gamer that's a girl can look up to, and not looking up to dumbass women like Lara Croft or the 350th female character in an RPG that has like huge boobs and has no backstory fucking at all. Like Final Fantasy VII is a perfect example. So you have Cloud, boring. Then you have Tifa, equally boring. She has no depth, zero. That character is dull as fucking butter knife. It's like, okay, so what do you know about Tifa on Final Fantasy VII? She's Cloud's friend. We know that. She ran a bar that got killed. We know that. That's it. That's it. That's all you know about her. Yuffie got more character development than Tifa. We don't know anything. We know that she has some like minor thing with Sephiroth, and that's it. And honestly, the only reason Tifa's even in the mix of that is despite to create more drama for Cloud versus Sephiroth. That's all that was there for. It was horrible. And they just, put this girl in there, she got like big boobs and stuff, and it's like, okay, we're supposed to care about her. No. And that's another reason why Final Fantasy VII isn't as great as people make it out to be. They're like, oh, this game is so great. Like, why was it great? The gameplay was redundant and it's been done a million times. I mean, if you play Final Fantasy 6 and 7, 6 is better. Like, it has way better elements everywhere. But most people didn't play Final Fantasy until 7, so that's why they think 7 is the greatest thing to ever fucking happen to the series. So, I wanted to talk a little bit about Horizon, tell you how impressed I was, and, if it goes on sale, and you got some extra cash, or you got games you want to turn in and pick it up, it is a solid buy. It is definitely worth it in every fucking sense of the word. And while, yes, there are similarities between Horizon and Breath of the Wild, I think that there's enough differences between the two to make it a new experience if you play Breath of the Wild. I don't care what they did with Zelda. Like, Zelda is still Zelda. It has its world, its enemies, its lore, and it is what it is. Whereas Horizon, it has its own universe too. Gameplay elements may be similar. That's probably true. Honestly, like, if you really want to boil it down, the gameplay to Horizon is like a really simple version of Monster Hunter. You know, and all these games are getting their ideas from Monster Hunter. You know, that's great. You know, that we have games like that. So I also wanted to talk a little bit about the game community and how it is. Fucking sad. So we have 2 remakes that are in the making right now that people are eagerly waiting for. We have the Resident Evil 2 community and we have the Final Fantasy 7 community. Both are eagerly anticipating these games. But they're doing it in a very bad way. So we have the Resident Evil community has literally told developers to go hang themselves, to drink bleach, to kill themselves. Really? You want people to fucking die because they didn't make your game? And then they're like, oh, well, you know, it's just a joke. Like, no, you don't joke about people wanting to kill themselves. That is a horrible, horrible thing to say to somebody. And I actually think I read in an article that the guys who, I mean, I don't watch the show, but some people do. Some people are saying that to the people who write for Rick and Morty, like, wow, why? Like, really? You motherfuckers are that evil? Like, it's horrible. And so the Resident Evil 2 remake has been in the making for... no, I haven't yet, Pat. The Resident Evil 2 remake's been in the making for like 3 years or whatever, and they're like freaking out at these guys. I'm like, okay, you guys are gonna get it when you get it. And to put it in context, so people who maybe aren't as into the series as I am, or other people, every single franchise has like that one game that was just fucking just the bee's knees, and everyone swears on it. Resident Evil. Oh, I can see that. I can see that. So, Resident Evil had Resident Evil 2. Now, in my opinion, somebody who's been playing the series since its inception, Resident Evil 2 is not even one of my top 5. It's not that great. When you talk about survival horror, it did about as much for survival horror as Resident Evil 5. So if I had to pick the top 5 games for Resident Evil, would be Resident Evil 1, Revelations 1 and 2, Code Veronica, and Resident Evil 3. The only thing Resident Evil 2 has going for it, as far as that stuff, is that there were still puzzles and there was inventory management. But there's like infinite ink ribbons. You don't have to worry about that. The enemies weren't hard. You don't have to worry about that. Unlocking all the stuff was easy. But a lot of times that's people's first exposure to something. Whenever you talk about somebody who's passionate about something, it's normally because it was the first time they were exposed to it. World of Warcraft has the same problem. Most people started WoW during, if they started in Wrath of the Lich King. Yeah, and Bloodborne is great as well. I agree. When you talk about survival horror, Resident Evil 2 doesn't hold a candle to what survival horror is. What made the first one so good. The game is not hard. The monsters are not scary. They're not innovative. There's nothing in Resident Evil 2 that was innovative. It didn't shake the system up. It was just more of the same. In Resident Evil 1, we had this huge mansion. We didn't know what was going on. They had really good pacing. Like, you get to a certain point in Resident Evil 1 and they're like, oh my god, there's hunters now. Fuck, this thing's gonna kill me. In Resident Evil 2, it's like we get exposed to a liquor right away, and then that's it. That's all we have for a long time. You know, and then once you go like all the way, we don't see any other original monsters until we go all the way to Umbrella. And then you get to Umbrella and they're like, oh, there's this plant thing. Like Resident Evil 2 was bland and boring. The only innovative thing it did was it created the B scenarios, which I thought was a cool little thing. But that was just to get more replayability out of the games. That's all that was. You know, you can see what, like, if you're playing as Claire, you get to see what Leon does, you know, while Claire's doing her thing. And that was a cool thing, and they had this monster that was chasing you. It was kind of like a beta test for Nemesis would be in Resident Evil 3. But, you know, when you talk about Resident Evil 1, it's like, we're fighting zombies, and we're fighting Crimson zombies, and we're fighting dogs, and we're fighting, you know, hunters. Then poisonous hunters, and then, you know, like all these things are going on in Resident Evil 1, and you're always on your toes. Resident Evil 2 did nothing like that. Honestly, nothing. It was whatever. I mean, you're fighting zombies for so long in that game that it is fucking boring. One of the hardest enemies in the game is like a fucking dog, which is sad. So anyway, so the Resident Evil 2 community is itching for their remake. They're threatening the developers, telling them that they should go hang themselves. I'll tell you right now, if I was running Capcom, I would make a public announcement. I would say, okay, you guys want to act like little fucking spoiled brats? We're not making a remake. It's not happening. And we'll just keep making another version of Resident Evil 7 for the next 5 years. Suck on that. That's exactly what I would do. Because these kids are acting entitled, and I fucking hate that. I hate when kids go around and act entitled. It's bullshit. Final Fantasy VII, going through the same shit. Square announced that they're hiring for a lead developer for the remake for Final Fantasy VII. Apparently, the guys they had in charge of it before wasn't making a cut. Square wants to release a quality product. Let them release it. They don't owe you jack shit. They don't have to remake nothing. They're trying to, and they're trying to make sure it's good. These two games have such a huge following and legacy. If they fuck it up, it is going to be worse than not making it at all. That is the fucking line. There's so much anger and hate and separation in the gaming community. It is ridiculous. Like right now, we have a console war going between four different directions if you include PC. You have the PlayStation users, we have the Xbox users, we have the Nintendo users, and we have the computer users. PC kind of minds their own fucking business. They'll tell you you're stupid to your face, but they're not going to openly attack you. The console generation, that's where things start to get a little dicey. So we have the PlayStation users telling the Xbox users they're shitty. We have the Xbox telling Nintendo and PlayStation they're crappy. You know what? I'm a PlayStation person because, and this is the honest to God truth, I like the controller. I don't like an Xbox controller. I do not like the Switch's controller. I do not like those controllers. And I am more a fan of the IPs that I get on PlayStation. And most of my friends are on PS4. So it makes sense. But there's people that are the same way I am with Xbox or Nintendo products. You know, everybody's big joke against Nintendo is that all they do is make little kid games. You know what? Some people like those little kid games. I'm not here to judge them. Just because I'm not going to own a Switch ever doesn't mean that, I should judge other people for it. Will I say that, I wouldn't do that? Yeah. Are they horrible people for owning it? No. Stop telling, I swear to God, I read it today. There was, one person's like, well, I prefer the Switch over the Xbox X, One X, or whatever. And he got told to go fucking hang himself by, 6 different people. What? We're all part of the same group. It's the most dysfunctional fucking family I've ever seen. I poke fun at Nintendo products too, but I would never tell someone to go fucking off themselves. Suicide's not a joke. It's not funny. No one should be saying that kind of stuff. That's horrible. They should be ashamed of themselves for talking like that. just pathetic. Like, oh my god, so bad. So bad. People own different consoles for different reasons. I know people who own the Switch because sometimes they want to play it on their couch. Sometimes they want to play it in their rooms. I personally would prefer to play on a TV all the time. I don't really give a crap about handhelds. But I'm not the majority. It doesn't matter if you own a Switch because you want to. That's great. Knock yourself out. I mean, you got to know how things are going to be. Your games aren't going to get released at the same time everybody else is, and that's just part of the deal. But you know what? If that's cool with you, knock yourself out. So that's just something I want to talk about. I just didn't like. I just don't like the direction that we're going. We should be helping each other, congratulating each other, talking about different games we're playing and how we're enjoying it. Not telling each other to go off themselves because they bought it on a different platform. That's ridiculous. But if I was going to say anything about it, it's that Xbox's exclusives are crap and they need to up their game. That's all I can say. Nintendo's exclusives are doing great and so are Sony's. But Xbox, gonna have to up your game if you guys are gonna stay competitive. You're gonna be the next Sega unless you can up it. It is what it is. So, anyway, going back to survival horror, I have been playing The Evil Within 2 the last few days, and I'm really enjoying it. It was extremely well done. I will say the game is a lot scarier if you're playing it with headphones. Just the sounds, the ambiance to it, and it's semi-open world, which is perfect. Like, they're like, all right, you need to go here. But along the way, you can do this, and this. But there's only so much you can do. There's only so much you can do. And then you go there, and then there's like a linear part, and then it goes back to an open world setting, and then, it bounces back and forth, back and forth. And that's perfect for me. And I thought it was extremely well done. It wasn't, it's not hard, per se, but it's fun. And I enjoyed it. So if you're one of those angry Resident Evil 2 fans, then fucking pick up something else. Play it for a while. Enjoy it. And at the end of the day, that's all I want to see. I want to see people having fun instead of tearing each other down like we're just horrible people. So that's all I kind of wanted to talk about. I'm not doing any gameplay today. I got an early morning tomorrow. But I wanted to talk a little bit about Horizon. If you have a PlayStation and you got a little expendable money, definitely worth checking out. I enjoyed every single second of it. And I'm in the process of replaying it so I can do the expansion part because I really enjoyed it. Other than that, guys, that's all I got. Be nice to each other. Don't tear each other down because they don't play your particular console or you don't think this game is very good or that good or whatever. But I will talk to you guys soon. Thanks for listening. Have a great night.